Hello and welcome. Today we're doing a case study, an analysis on an episode of Seinfeld titled The Summer of George. We're going to determine if my theory of broke firing can really work. Enjoy.
Can't believe the Yankees really fired me.
You had a good run.
Okay, so we end up here with George getting fired from the New York Yankees. And if you're familiar with Seinfeld, you will know that George does many stints as an unemployed NEET. It's part of his loser persona.
Took him to the World Series.
I gotta give the players most of the credit for that.
However, being the lovable loser is actually a workable angle these days. It's kind of right in the name. The famous, "My name is George.
I'm unemployed and I live with my parents."
That pickup line is used in an earlier season, and for good reason. And by the way, I fully plan on using this line on dating apps and documenting the results in the future when I actually retire, and we'll see if it still holds up. But back to it, neatdom is an ongoing theme throughout the show. So you've got Jerry, George, and Kramer. They all somehow live in the city without real jobs. I mean, heck, Kramer is basically a full-time NEET by profession.
There's just no way that we could keep you on. But I don't even really work here.
In fact, the only one who really holds a job in the show is Elaine. So already we see here is that being a NEET is inherently masculine. It's basically men taking time off from work so they can do shadow work and chill and play video games. And we see this in the season 9 episode number 18 titled The Frogger. Men will do anything to play video games and be alone. Okay, well, back to George getting fired. Okay, so not everybody is going to have this involuntary unemployment that George has. In fact, myself, I see me and my place of work having this this mutual separation. Both of us mutually want something. They don't want me to leave, and I don't want to work there anymore. So in the summer of George is given 3 months full pay as a severance package.
The Yankees are giving me 3 months full pay for doing nothing.
Yeah, I did it for 3 years. What's another few months?
And this allows him to start what I have dubbed broke firing, which is having no income yet still retiring and being financially independent for 12 months or less. It's not really easy, I'm not going to lie, but check out my other videos if you want to learn more. Now, as we see here in the summer of George, right out of the gates, he is excited.
I'm really gonna do something with these 3 months.
Like what?
I'm gonna read a book. From beginning to end, in that order.
He wants to read. He wants to exercise. He wants to expand his health and his mind.
I can learn to play golf.
You mean golf?
Golf! Frisbee golf, Jerry! Golf with a frisbee!
The broke fire movement is all about rebuilding your energy stores and chasing the goals that you've been putting off. It's when we stop focusing on work and focus more on restoration and shadow work that we begin to re-energize and enjoy life.
I proclaim this the Summer of George!
White Shadow is on.
Boy, you're really packing it all in.
When you first broke fire, you will go through a transition known as the decompression.
Hey, Jerry, my vacation has just started. I need a day or two to decompress.
During this time, it's all right to allow yourself to rest, relax, and not really have any structure. Catching up on sleep, shows, YouTube videos, and eating, they're all allowed to be unregulated during this time.
Besides, I did plenty today.
Like what?
Bought a new recliner with a fridge built right into it.
Here we see that George is already spending money on a new recliner, which is, honestly, it's not advised, but since this show was filmed in the 90s, it's likely he got it for free from a dumpster, so I'll allow it. Remember though, you don't have a lot of money to work with, so spending money is only going to stress you out and worry you in the long run. An important thing to remember here is, when retired, do not buy anything.
Kramer?
The decompression is vital.
All right, that's enough. I gotta go home and take a nap.
It's 10:30 in the morning.
What can I tell you? I'm white.
You will be exhausted through much of it, so give in to your body's urges. I'm talking eat, sleep, be merry.
So has the Summer of George begun, or are you still decomposing?
Decompressing.
All right, so another important aspect of the decompression is you can't leave your house.
They make swaddling clothes for adults.
It's a delicate balance, however, because if you do this for too long, you will resort to being agoraphobic and unable to leave. So here we see George inquiring about the activities of Kramer.
It's Kramer.
Hey, Kramer.
George says hi.
We see a spark in his eye and a rejuvenated look upon his face. Now, George is a veteran when it comes to unemployment, so he doesn't worry too much about being home locked due to anxiety.
So what's George doing?
He's not doing anything.
Goodbye.
Hey, I've done that today.
Okay, so here's an incredibly important line that most people miss.
What'd you lose your remote?
Nah, cable's out.
When Jerry asks George if he lost the remote, George replies, "Nah, the cable's out." So what is the first thing George does when the cable is out? He leaves the house. This is the beauty of no surf at work. You see, when Seinfeld was first airing, home internet wasn't as easily accessible as it is now. Watching TV was essentially the mindless brain rot that people did when they were at home. Screen time has been a thing for a lot longer than people care to admit. Internet addiction naturally followed. The concept still stands both in the 90s and today. When the cable or internet go out, so do we. It's such an important component of the broke fire movement, it's a shame that so many people gloss right over it. So after the decompression, with the benefit of no surf, we see George finding the wind in his sails again. He and Jerry get together out in public, in the real world, and determine that dating is so difficult that it takes two people just to manage one woman.
But maybe the two of us working together at full capacity could do the job of one normal man.
And each of us would only have to be like a half man.
But these are the type of things that I look forward to doing in my own mini retirement, okay? I look forward to the energy. I look forward to picking up the wind in my sails and propelling me off into the future and my next endeavor. And I think it's quite necessary to see where that will take me. So as a completely restored individual, George finds himself willingly going out of his way to do things, just as we find on many retirements, doing things sounds like fun again. Not only is he willing to spend more on invitations for Jerry's girlfriend,
Actually,
he readily accepts an invitation of his own to play frisbee golf. Frolf, Jerry, frolf.
Ralph?
Yeah. You know, we need a fourth for the back nine. You want in?
Yeah, sure. Come on.
The working individual mind cannot comprehend this action. There is yet to be a documentation of a person with a full-time job enjoying frisbee golf. Frolf, Jerry. George accepts the invite to exercise, something we haven't seen since he was chucking basketballs and pissing in the gym shower. All right, so as we see here, exercise, improving mental health, it's going to improve your confidence, it's going to improve your SMV, your sexual market value, and it's going to compound. It's going to be like the stock market. It's going to go straight up, just always continuing to go straight up. And these are the type of things that we have to look forward to with the mini retirement in the near future. Unfortunately for George, he commits a massive blunder. He lets his own exuberance get the best of him. All right. He slips on an invitation that he dropped going up the stairs like a dumbass, and he falls down the stairs, injuring himself again. For the first time, of course. In the end, we're unsure if George is even going to be able to walk again.
I think there's a good chance you may, one day, walk again.
Well, that's good news.
That's how we end the episode.
Summer of George.
This can happen during a mini retirement. For some people, there is actually a risk of injury, and for others, we are just crippled by anxiety and agoraphobia, broken, lost, afraid to leave the house. It's fitting that the episode ends with the cliffhanger. It's the last season in episode 8, but it's actually the last episode of season 8, okay? We don't know if the Summer of George was a success until the beginning of season 9. So the preceding episode, it was a great analysis on my part. It was perfect. No, it was a great comparison to my own mini retirement that is, well, I'm hopefully going to happen starting in June this year. And like I said, we don't know how it's going to end. We don't know how the next chapter will begin. But I think it's going to be entertaining, to say the least. So, hey, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for checking out the video. I hope to see you in the next one, if I can put out another one. And in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good night, and good luck.